He's already whinging, chat. He's already whinging. Oh, there's only 30 people watching.
Oh, I genuinely didn't even realise you'd pressed the go live button.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Saints Network podcast for your almost weekly dose, explanation coming soon, of all things Southampton Football Club. The season has sort of started. It's a bit of an odd one this season as we've started with the Carabo Cup, but the season has sort of started. Saints away at Colchester yesterday evening at 17:30 as a kickoff time for round one of the Carabo Cup. We have obviously got the first league game on Sunday away at Watford. Oh my God, I've missed football season.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my God, I've missed football season. The World Cup can get in the fucking sea. Oh my God, I've missed football season.
World Cup can get in the sea.
I tried really hard to get into the World Cup. I bought England shirts. I watched every game. It's just shit.
It's not great, is it? No, I know.
No. So now we get back to talking about Saints, which is, it's why we're all here. It's why it's called the Saints Network podcast. It's not called the England Football Club podcast. It's the Saints Network podcast. So we're here to talk about Saints
England
today.
Football Club? That's not what you'd call it.
I don't care. I literally don't care.
Okay.
Right? So we'll review the Colchester game. We'll talk about other transfer news and Saints news in general. We'll talk about other wider football news, and we'll talk about what's coming, specifically Watford next week, and then the show. Is Jimmy Cheese in chat? Is Jimmy there?
I don't think Jimmy
Let's
is
see
in
if
chat.
he shows up. I need to message him.
Why?
Because this idiot is on another holiday. Another holiday. So he can't be here on Sunday to do a show. So I either have to do a show with Jimmy, or there'll be no show on Sunday.
I'm sure Jimmy would love it. Everyone message Jimmy and tell him, do a Saints Network show next
Only
Sunday.
because he said about coming on. I'm like, well, in my hour of need. But I can't wait for the season to start next week. So, have we covered? Oh no, we haven't covered everything. If you haven't already, please make sure you do the magical YouTube things for us. Hit the like button if you enjoy the content. That genuinely really helps the show. It makes YouTube think that we're more popular than we actually are, and we've got friends. It pushes it out to more people. If you hit that subscribe button, that also does similar things, and it helps the channel on the show. If you hit subscribe, for example, from this show because you're watching, you've never seen us before, that makes YouTube think that this show must be a good show, and it pushes it out further. And then that bell notification icon would let you know every single time we go live, or you can get in the Saints Network Discord server, which is free to enter, and that will also tell you when we go live every single week, so you don't miss a show. If you want to financially support us, however, we're on a new season now. If you want to financially support us, the way you can do that, there's a number of ways you can do that, actually. Watching the content helps, especially on demand, because we have ads turned on demand. We keep ads off for live shows. Nothing worse than trying to join a live stream when it goes live and there's a fucking advert, and then you miss the start of the show.
Agreed.
Nothing worse than that. So we don't turn them on until after the show, and then we only turn on pre and post roll ads anyway. But you can also become a member of the channel, which gets you access to more areas of Discord, or you can gift memberships to the grey names in chat, so they get tasting of those extra areas in Discord. Or you can super chat, which is a big colourful postcard, right? Which you can say things, and we will read every single one of those out and respond to them. And there's also a members area where you can have have your say section, where we'll go and look at that later. But they've got this new feature called gifts or something. It's weird. I don't know. It's weird.
I saw this on your other channel the other day. I have no idea what you're on about.
Apparently, it doesn't cost you anything, but we make money off of it.
Do it.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what's what.
I have no idea. Right, I have no idea. Anyway, let's start with Colchester away.
Colchester away.
Which was watched in glorious HD on my TV. I bought a big TV. So Ash was like, can I watch the football at your house?
Well, your TV's bigger than mine.
Yeah, well, so yeah. But,
It got me out of the house for a bit, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Because you've managed to create this great big fucking issue where apparently everyone thinks I'm on holiday every 5 minutes.
Well, you are.
I mean,
there you go, look. Is that a gift? Apparently, we make money on that. I don't know what it does.
What?
I don't know what it does. I have no idea. I've got no idea what's going on.
I am so confused.
I don't know what that means, chat, but apparently there's a rumour that we make money off of it and it doesn't cost you anything. So, banging.
Have you not seen anything about how it makes money?
No, I don't know how it works, Ash. I literally turned it on 3 minutes before we went live.
Oh, okay. Probably could have consulted, the bloke that's half the podcast, but still, yeah, it's fine.
Oh, sorry. Is it okay if I turn on a feature that costs people no money but probably makes us money?
Well, it does. You don't know if it makes us money. You have no idea how it works.
But is it okay if I turn that feature on?
Yeah.
Well, then shut up then.
Do it for him. Fucking idiot.
Enjoy your goat trophy. Thank you, people, for the 3 goat trophies. I will take that to mean that we are, in fact, goated.
Oh, God.
So Ash comes over yesterday so that I could feed his children whilst we watch the football at my house on my TV using my Sky. And we sat and watched Colchester, and the lineup was an interesting one. In fact, you turned up and said to me, "Have you seen the lineup?" And I said no, and you said you're going to want to look at it.
Only for one position.
Take us through, Ash.
So it was expected. Obviously, we had the Israel's number 1, the Iron Dome in goal. Back forwards as we would expect moving into the new season of Jamesbury, Jack Stevens, Taylor Hard-Bellis, and Ryan Manning. We then had Flynn Downs and Madski next to him.
Madski was a choice. We'll go into that in a second, but I think
the 3 behind the striker was Cienza, Fellows, Dobbin and Cienza, and then we started with we started with Ben Barrett and Diaz up front.
Ben Barrett and Donkey up front, that's right,
yeah. And Tonda had said in the pre-game that we were going to go into it quite strong, and it was good and important to get off to a strong start. I have opinions on that, which I'll get into later. And obviously the game wasn't probably the most entertaining of games, but I think it became very clear to see that, and there is obviously things that people aren't aware. Obviously, there's been negotiations and announcements that could potentially happen in the next 24 hours about a new striker, but it's been very clear to see that Ben Barrett and Diaz just needs to fuck off.
So he was the one that I was a bit surprised at. There was some positivity around supposedly his pre-season and that he'd been impressing. He's just a person who never looks like he gives a shit, as far as I'm concerned. And even when he played at Derby and seemed to be doing okay last season, getting involved in kind of in kind of goal creations, etc., he still seemed to look like he just didn't really give a shit and he wasn't really trying. That was a surprise. Madski was the other surprise. The rest of it, I think, was expected. And the only reason why Madski was a surprise is I kind of expected young Cam Bragg to start there instead of... So Caspiander injured, so he was never going to start. Okay. I also don't think Shea Charles was going to start, and we now know why.
Yeah.
We know why he wasn't going to get played. Hence the stream title and the thumbnail, right? So Madski in central midfield was a choice. And I was like, you know what? He's tidy on the ball. He's normally pretty good with his passing. Fine. Cool. Madski's fine. No worries, right? So I kind of didn't really have a massive issue with that selection, but I did have an issue with Barrett and Diaz. Now, you told me that old Laren had only got back a week before.
He's got back till Monday.
Yeah, so less than a week before, right? But we still had Cam Archer, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'd rather have started him up front than Ben Barrett and Diaz.
I actually believe that if Damien Downs hadn't picked up an injury in the last friendly, I think he would have started.
Interesting. Well, there you go. So the lineup was the lineup. Let's be honest, chat. If you watched it, that first half was really boring.
And crap.
But it was really boring. There wasn't a lot that happened. We knocked the ball around nicely in places. We put ourselves under a lot of pressure by knocking it about, and it was kind of sloppy, loose passes. It looked like rusty, right?
It looks like the game had a feel, and this is the problem that everyone's had with the Carabo Cup starting. The game had a feel of a pre-season friendly.
It definitely had a feel of pre-season friendly, 100%. And they kind of were just, and there was so many stray passes. There was a few from Madski, which surprised me. There was a couple from Fellows. There was just stray passes all over the place where we put ourselves under pressure. Colchester at that point seemed a little bit more up for it. We did dominate possession in the first half, but there was a moment where we went, yep, that's why we fucking signed you, and that's why you're in goal instead of Aaron Ramsdale, because Perez pulls off a triple save, which was... It was impressive.
It was impressive. Yeah, the ball gets played in. I don't know the Colchester player's name. I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but he swings on the ball. He takes a shot. He gets down quickly. He makes a very good save. They obviously then have a Taylor Hard-Bellis, and I think it's James Greer ball watching. Next Colchester player nips in and tries to get ahead of it, and he makes another save. Then he sort of goes on an absolute rampage and stops the next one. And I think we all sort of had the impression at half-time, because we didn't really do much. There was a lot of... Dobbin had an opportunity where he kind of stung the keeper's hands. Cienza worked hard. Dobbin worked hard. Fellows worked hard.
I'll read your sentence specifically. First half, Perrett's triple save. Dobbin stings keeper's hands. BBD shit.
Well, it was just flat, wasn't it? And I know that we're coming off... It's hard because you're obviously dicking around with what we've just done with the summer, and obviously there was all the SpyGate stuff, and we'll get into that later, but... There was, it was just flat, almost.
So I have theories, right? You're right about the preseason feel, but if you watch it, if you see what was going on, right? Barrett and Diaz was a fucking spectator.
Well, I think
nothing was going through him.
I think that was the problem, is that we didn't have enough people. We didn't have the person up front to hold the ball up like the players like. We know that the ball wants to get held up, spread out to the wing, players bringing into it. I think Dobbin
off the hold up, yeah.
Dobbin looked really, really good. Madsky, I like Madsky. He just looks really weak in that position. He can't play that position. He's too weak. Way too weak. He needs to be out. Once he moved out wide towards the end of the game, he looked a lot better.
Dobbin did look good. I am going to say something that might not be popular, but I am getting to a point where I just don't rate Fellows, and I would rather at this point put Dobbin in Fellows' position, keep Cienza in his position, and play as Az. I just don't. Fellows just. Maybe I'm being harsh. He was involved in 8 goal assists last season, right? He didn't score any goals, but he was involved in 8 assists. And 8 assists isn't terrible.
No.
But he just the amount of wasted opportunities he has to create those assists, I think the scale's wrong. I think there's too many wasted versus created. With the amount of positions he gets in, he should have more than 8 assists last season.
No, but we discussed this yesterday at your place. It's a big season for Tom Fellows.
It is a big season, 100%.
Fellows. He needs to. This needs to be a season where he kicks on, or he's going to potentially find himself floundering at the Championship, lower end of Championships. He needs to go on and do a bit more this year. And he wasn't bad last year. It's just he tailed off towards the end. And I think that there's a bit of work around him making sure that he is doing what he does and supplying those crosses in for Larin and his new strike partner, who we'll discuss later. But I also think there's obviously this great big narrative now about him scoring goals, etc. So potentially, I think you're right. We could see Dobbin in that position. I mean, Tonda did say at the end of the game, Azaz potentially won't start again at Watford. I'm still a big Tom Fellows fan. We'll have to wait and see how it goes with him.
So to be clear, I want him to do well. Of course I do. Anyone who puts on the Saints badge, I want them to do well. But I like Tom Fellows. I think he shows moments. And he played against Fulham and Arsenal and City and proved that he can play against bigger clubs. Yeah. But he's kind of inconsistent. And there was a moment yesterday we were watching him and he went down the right-hand wing. I was like, maybe this year he can be less shit. And as I said that,
he
literally ran the ball out of play.
Having said that, he also had a couple of crosses, one which was over from Dobbin. And if you remember, it was the start of the second half, he had the cross that went in, where Baron Diaz decided to just completely miss it. So he's good at picking that man out, and I just think that if we're going to be successful this season, he has a big major part to play.
Yeah.
However,
he's got to sort his consistency out.
I just think he's just had a massive lack of confidence. It's like that old phrase that our dad used to say, right? He needs something to hit him on the arse and go in.
Yeah, he does, 100%. Second half, it gets better. So we make a couple of changes. They bring on Mr. the Kyle Larin.
I mean, the Telegraph pole up front, yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love that player. And what else did they do? They took off Fellows and they moved Madsky out to that wing.
And we brought on Cameron. We brought on Cameron Bragg.
We brought on Cam Bragg, right? And that made huge difference. I'm going to say this now. I think Cam Bragg has the potential to be fucking different gravy. I think he's got a big future ahead of him. Because the way that man reads the ball, the way that young lad reads the game and reads the ball is insane.
He just does everything quietly.
Yes.
Just neatly.
100%.
He just does the donkey work.
Yep.
And the thing is that Flynn Downs is a player who plays on a lot of confidence and he needs to be playing consistently. But Flynn Downs is going to get suspended a couple of times next season. We know it, guys. It's just the way it's going to happen. And I'm pretty sure that the starting lineup at Watford is going to be Flynn Downs and Cameron Bragg. There was a few times in the game against Colchester where he just does the dog work. And the thing is, he doesn't seem to put much effort into it, but he just does it. So he could, again, another player who, you think there was, we'll talk about the fans forum later, but there was a comment in the fans forum where people think they were talking about Will Steele, but they weren't. They were talking about the guy that was in charge of Crawley, saying that Cameron Bragg wasn't good enough. He had to move down to the National League, and then Tonda brought him back, and now suddenly he was playing FA Cup semi-finals and all that sort of stuff.
He looks incredible.
I think he's another player who, when he came into the team last year, and we talked about Cameron Bragg coming on, we're like, but at the same time, we're like, actually, and now I'm like, if Cameron Bragg starts, like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, like yesterday with the way Matsky was playing in that position, I was like, this game needs him. It needs him. And he came on and he solidified it. So he solidified the middle a little bit more. And then we got service into a man who's used to receiving service as a striker and isn't a complete fucking donkey. And then lo and behold, and this is the simple fact of the matter is, right? Ryan Manning crosses that ball in. The simple fact, and I know it smashes him on the nose and goes in, but the simple fact of the matter is, he was in the right position because he's a natural striker. He just was.
No, he was, and this
that
is
ball. Wait, you're coming charging in on the back post. The cross comes in. Who cares where it hits you if it goes in the fucking net? You're in the right place to meet that cross, and it went in, and he scores another goal.
It's that phrase, isn't it? What's that old phrase? It's a striker's finish. It's a striker's goal, isn't it? It's used in the right place. It's a sort of thing that some players do need. I don't think he could. He didn't try to score it. It just hit him.
Yeah,
and
it did.
Went in. And what that did was settle a lot of. We looked a bit nervy at that point, but it settled a fair few nerves. We were able to then make obviously more changes, and Colchester from that moment, apart from a couple of half chances, didn't really have a sniff. And then, we were able to make changes. We were able to make changes. We brought Finazaz on. We brought Cameron Archer on. Archer looked really bright.
Archer did look bright. Yeah,
he looked a lot brighter.
The Finazaz Appreciation Club for this season has already started because we also brought on. I don't want to murder his name. Akachukwu.
Romeo Akachukwu. Yeah,
banging. Nailed it first time. So we brought him on, and we had a lovely bit of play to set up him to get through on goal, to turn a defender, and then slot it in the bottom corner.
Yeah.
What a beautiful way to take a finish from a young lad who's come up through the academy.
He's not come up through the academy, but that's a sore subject. We bought him, but he's not come up through the youngsters in the academy. We bought him, and then he's been part of the academy. I think we bought him as a 16-year-old.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But still, he's still technically a product of our academy, right? Because we got him. But he was on loan at Colchester last year, and it was a good finish. And I think, to be fair, it was something that was needed because Josh has just asked a question there. I think we were denied a certain penalty on Cameron Archer. I think, chat, what are we saying? Are we saying penalty or not penalty? I was convinced it was a penalty.
It's one of those situations, that penalty is one of those situations where if they'd have given it, I don't think anyone questions it. But when I saw it, and this is like the benefit of replay, the benefit of slow motion is always one thing, right? That player, he is just watching the ball. He is just watching the ball. Do I think it was a penalty? In the higher leagues of English football, I think that gets given most weeks, if I'm honest. I think that so I would say
that.
So I would say yes, penalty. But I also, it's a hard one, isn't it? Because the defender is definitely, you watch him, he's watching the ball. I think it probably is a penalty, though.
So I know that we've all got our bias heads on, but I think it was a penalty. We also had a few other sort of half chances. Look, at the end of the day, the way I've described the job was professional. We went there with, and there's been a few banana skins, not many, but there's been a few banana skins where teams have lost to teams below in the lower leagues, etc., etc. It wouldn't have necessarily set the tone for us even if we'd have lost yesterday and got knocked out. But and we'll find who we play out. We'll find who we play tomorrow. I'll find out when I'm, led on a sunbed doing fuck all. But
it's a fucking big sunbed, though.
But it was a professional performance. We scored 2 goals. We did what we did, and we come away. One of the youngsters scores, done, dusted.
Chat's got it as well, and I agree with this. Be gutted if it was given against us. That's my point. I can see it going either way. I think more often than not at the top flight that is given, but I think you would feel aggrieved if it was given against you.
Waterford, thank you, Henry. I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah,
that's where he's coming from.
So we did have that penalty not given, but it's okay. Like you said, Ash uses the word professional. I kind of agree. Laren's goal is just a striker in a striker's position. Akachukwu's goal was nicely taken. Beautiful pass from Finazaz. Pass from Finazaz to put him through. And I think that it was just kind of solid. There were some shaky moments in defence. There's a bit of passing around that didn't go quite well. Stevens, I dare say that Stevens looked slightly rusty.
Would expect
slightly
it to
off
be,
the pace.
Yeah.
But this kind of feeds into what you said about it essentially being like a pre-season friendly.
Well, a lot of clubs at that level have said that they were potentially going to use these games as a friendly game, apart from obviously the fact that they get a lack of substitutions.
Yeah. Because
I watched a Middlesbrough Wrexham game on Friday night, and that was a really slow paced.
Yeah, Garsty, why didn't you beat him for us?
Yeah, Garsty, fucking hell.
Jesus, Garsty.
The Mansfield Sheffield United game was a slow pace. It's just, and it doesn't help obviously. And we will mention.
Do you think it's a mistake making the first game of the season round one of the Carabo Cup?
Yeah, they've done it before.
Do you think it's a mistake, though?
Yeah, I do. Because the thing is everyone wants to start off the League 6 fixtures. Now, they've obviously done it because the majority of teams who are playing in the Carabo Cup wouldn't have had players at the World Cup. So it means that, obviously, Championship teams can potentially rest players and do all that sort of stuff. Because, obviously, like I said, Carl Laren only came back on Monday. But it still doesn't make any sense for me to start it that way. Just start the season a week later.
Yeah.
It's a championship. You can make it up by doing, and I know people are going to say, oh, games and times. You can make it up. Just fucking make the season a week later.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the last time they did it. I can't remember who we played last time we started the game. But normally the League Cup game is the second game of the season. You play the first game, then you play a League Cup game. So just gets that one out of the way.
Simon asks an interesting question before we move on. He says, would you have preferred to be out of the Cup to focus on the league?
No.
I said this last season. I say this quite a lot, right? When it comes to the Cup, getting knocked out of the Cup and focusing on the league is nice, but depending on the way you're knocked out in the Cup, that can really hit a team's confidence and it can impact the way you perform in the league.
Having said that, I think if we'd have got knocked out of the FA Cup by Arsenal, maybe Fulham last year, then potentially we get promoted automatically.
Well, until they take it off us.
Well, they wouldn't have done by that point because we only got caught when we got into the playoffs.
So, well, that's fair, yeah. So, and the way we were knocked out against Manchester City, though, it didn't really need to seem to knock the stuffing out of the team. They were like, we got beat by City at Wembley.
No, but then we went on and had 2 draws at home and games we needed to win. Didn't
lose, but yeah, you're right. So it's one of those. I think it's one of those things, isn't it? A good cup run can really boost your league performance. And I also personally believe, and maybe I'm going to probably sound like some archaic old man here, but I personally believe that when they're going, oh, the players are a bit tired, fuck off. I've seen the training schedules, fuck off. Playing 3 games of football a week and getting paid fucking 25 grand a week, fuck off. You paid me 25 grand a week, I play 90 minutes a day.
I get the idea of potentially being out the cup for that thing, but I think that at this stage of the season, if you're talking confidence-wise, to lose, put your strong team out and to lose at Colchester, and I no disrespect to Colchester, they give it a good go, fair play to them, but to lose that game would have been a bit of a confidence knocker, and especially considering the way last season ended, we need to start this season positively.
Yeah, 100%. There was eyes on us yesterday, and I think they handled themselves quite well, all things considered. What was really lovely to see for a game that was televised was they gave man of the match to Ryan Manning. Because normally what happens is a striker comes on, it hits him on his nose and goes in, and they go, scored a goal, man of the match. And they actually gave it to Manning, and I think that was good. I was really chuffed with that. So I was glad to see him get man of the match. We haven't done a members poll for man of the match for yesterday. They'll come back next week for the league, right? And we'll do members polls for man of the match.
Only because I forgot.
Because Ash forgot, apparently.
I'm packing. I'm going on holiday. I don't know if it's been mentioned.
Yesterday's game done. If you've got any opinions on the game and you want to definitely talk about them, please feel free to stick them on a super chat for us. Spend a couple of quid. It helps us out. We definitely talk about whatever you've got to say about the Colchester game, if there is something you want to talk about.
Or anything.
It can also be anything else. So we're going to move into transfer news because we're currently still in the transfer window. Announced today by what's-his-face, Fabrizio Romano, whatever his name is, that Shea Charles to Fulham has been agreed. We sort of knew it was coming, and I think that when we saw Madsky start yesterday and Charles on the bench, and when we saw Charles not come off the bench, and then when we saw him at the end of the game receiving a chant from the fans, and he did the old fist bumps, that was a good buy. That was a good buy.
Of course it was.
I think we all knew. And I don't think anyone begrudges him this. So he's off to Fulham, who we beat last season. He's off to Fulham. It's apparently 30 million quid of a total package. So
£26 million plus £4 million potential add-ons.
And there's a sizable sell-on fee. I like the fact we keep putting these big sell-on fees in. Controversially, if you just said to me before the transfer window opened that you can sell Shea Charles for 30 million quid and you'll keep Downs, Bragg and Yander, would you take it? I'd go, yes, please. That'll do. I'll have that.
Yes, agreed. And look, there's a point here. I think that it's a very good deal for us in terms of it. So Shea Charles becomes the highest, the most expensive Northern Irish player ever. There's a degree here where he wasn't even really. He scored a couple of clutch goals towards the end of the last year, and he was very good in the Arsenal. Scored the goal against Middlesbrough, etc. But he wasn't first team in and out. We all knew that our strongest midfield last year was Flynn Downs and Casper Yander. So if we can keep that, and Casper Yander being injured right now potentially keeps him out of the transfer window, maybe. Yeah. That's there.
If you gave me a choice, Charles or Yander, which one do you want to sell? I'll sell Charles.
And the money that we're getting from him is insane. So there's a lot of people now that are talking about it, and we'll get onto the striker talk in a minute, that are talking that we need to take that money and reinvest it into a £20 million striker. Was never going to happen. Was never going to happen. We're not spending the money like Middlesbrough are doing. We're not spending the money like West Ham are doing, or West Ham will do, because they've got a lot of cash to spend. We have done a decent bit of business. Does it mean he's the only one that's going to leave? No. We know that Tonda says we need to trim the squad. We know the players that we need to trim. We need to get rid of Bazunu and Ramsdale and Sugawara and Barrett Diaz and those sort of players. The players obviously we do need to get rid of. Those players are going to go eventually, but this is one that you need to do. You need to keep the money and make sure we can use that money to try and keep the players that we've got.
Well, you said who do we think could replace him?
So there's a few players that we were linked with. We'll get the first one out of the way because everyone keeps talking about it, right? And we've discussed it today. James Ward-Prowse. We've been linked with Josh Mulligan from Hibernian. There's a few other players that have been mentioned. The question, I suppose, would be, do we need to replace him?
I would answer no.
I would argue yes, potentially. But then you've still got Barnaby Williams, Joe O'Brien, Whitmarsh in the academy as well. So it depends on how regularly you see Cameron Bragg starting and playing. But I think the club will go out and replace him. Okay. I think the club will replace him. I think they'll probably replace him with someone. They're not going to break the bank. I think they potentially might even use the loan market for it.
Interesting. Okay. Talking of loan market, you've written here that Divin Mubama.
So his name is Divin Mubama.
Divin. Of course he's called Divin if he plays for fucking City.
Well, you watched him get sent off last year.
Did I?
For diving.
Did I?
He was playing for Stoke last year.
Lol. So apparently we're in talks with him for a season-long loan from Manchester City. How did he play at Stoke last year?
He got 5 goals and an assist. But he is the right profile. I said to you yesterday, we need someone who has the right profile to suit the role of Carl Larin. So Ross Stewart's gone to Swansea. I'm not going to talk about him anymore. Done until he scores against us later on in the season.
Snake, yeah.
So he's gone off to Swansea. So we needed someone who was going to replace that mould. Mabama is that mould. He's big, he's strong, and actually he didn't get many goals at Stoke last year. When we watched him play for Stoke down here, we all stood in our little group and we went, bloody hell, he's good. And it's pretty likely that he's now going to be the guy that we're bringing in.
But and if we do bring him in, he'll get service from Cienza, Fellows, Azaz.
And you have to remember Stoke at this point won last year, were top of the league. Now, he's a player. He's a very good player. He's had a good pre-season for Manchester City. He's their second highest performing player. He scored against Inter Milan and stuff like that in pre-season. Again, it's pre-season. I could probably score in pre-season. Actually, probably not. But I think it's a good move all round for both parties. He gets good experience again in the Championship, a team that theoretically should be fighting at the right end of the table. And he obviously gets to rotate around with Carl Larin because we know Carl Larin isn't going to play 3 games in a week. We know he would do if he was given the opportunity, but we know he probably won't cope with that.
Jay Robinson departs. I'm glad. I'm glad he departs on loan and not a sale. I think Jay Robinson's got a lot of potential. I think Jay Robinson could be a very good player. I think that he lost his way.
I think he was given a lot of minutes under Will Still and looked very, very good. The problem is with Jay Robinson is he is the one person who clearly needs to play off confidence, and he's someone who can't play against teams. I'm going to use the phrase, get your tick box out. He's going to need to play off things like a low block, for example. So he doesn't need to play. He can't play against a low block. So he was given a lot of opportunities around. He goes out to Monza in Italy. He goes to play under Ivan Juric again.
Okay.
So good luck. Hopefully it goes well for him because it's just a straight loan. There's no option to buy at the end of it. It's just a straight loan.
So I am going to talk about Ross Stewart because we were recently linked with bringing him back in, and I think people were open to it in seriousness. I wasn't open to it. I was against it, and I know you said you would take him back. I don't understand the move to Swansea.
I do.
I can only imagine it's money.
3-year deal. We were offering him 2. He's getting a 3-year deal.
Yeah, but the second year of that could have been in the Premier League. I just don't think it makes sense. But, he's done what he's done. He clearly only gives a fuck about himself and screw the club that looked after me through all my major injuries. Talking of people leaving, we still haven't heard anything. So, obviously, we signed Daniel Peretz. He started yesterday. He's going to be our first choice keeper. He's wearing number 1. We still have on the books Aaron Ramsdale and his reported monumental wage bill of £100,000 a week.
He was also at Colchester yesterday.
He was at Colchester yesterday. What do you think happens with Aaron Ramsdale?
I think abroad, Well, actually, you know what? It's a funny old market, right? So
Abroad on loan?
I think potentially a loan could be another one to go because I don't think people are going to pay the fee for him because James Trafford has just left Manchester City and joined Leeds for £45 million. £45 million. And he played, what, 10 games for City last year? £45 million. Carl Rushworth has just joined Coventry. I think he's signed now. And that's £20-odd million. If Carl Rushworth is worth £20-odd million, Aaron Ramsdale's worth 30. Like, Jesus, what's going on? And the goalkeepers used to go for cheaper, right? That's the point. £45 million Leeds have paid to James Trafford. So there's obviously English tax on that. I think
that's mental.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him go out to sort of like a Turkish club with some big money. For who can pay the wages.
£45 million for James Trafford is fucking mental.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, so I reckon you're potentially looking at Italy or Turkey, potentially another loan where they pay off his wages. Bazunu, he went obviously on loan to Standard Liège last year. Again, potentially you could do another loan for him, but I think potentially Bazunu will be one where his contract runs out.
When does his contract run out? Do we know?
Next season, I think.
So just let him be the water boy or something.
But we're also, again, we sit here now, it's the 9th of August. We've still got another 3 weeks left of the transfer window. And we know ourselves there's a lot can happen.
I feel a bit bad for Ramsdale, to be honest with you, but not that bad considering he gets paid £100 a fucking week. I'd like that. Fucking don't make that in years. So I feel, but I do. He does come across as a decent bloke, as a nice person. I think his problem is his wages, and so then I have this kind of seesaw, right, where I feel sorry for him because he seems like a good bloke, but he's been replaced by Peretz as our first choice keeper because we're trying to offload him because his wage bill is so high. He can solve that problem. He can solve that problem. He can say half my wages. I'll take 50 grand a week. And then we'd be like, oh, well, he could be our first choice keeper again. Maybe we wouldn't have brought Peretz in.
I think he's got one more move left in him, a big move left in him. So let's see what comes up. But at the moment, the goalkeeper market has gone a bit mad. We were expecting potentially Leeds or Coventry to come in for him. Potentially, he might go and be a bigger club's number 2, but again, the money he's on, we'll have to wait and see. But I can't see him being here at the end of the transfer window.
No, I don't think so either. And I think we're expecting more players to leave as well, more players to be out the door, which we need to. We still need to keep thinning the squad. We still have this horrifically bloated squad from years and years ago. Would you? Well, no, it depends, doesn't it, Simon? Right? So I've had this discussion with people before. Would you do it? Would you say, give me half my wages? It depends on what I think the impact is on my future career. Right, so if sticking to 100 grand a year, 100 grand a week means that my career dies in 2 years because I'm too fucking greedy, then and taking 50 grand a year means that my career will carry on for 10 years. I know which one's more lucrative to me in the long run.
It also depends on how serious he is about playing regular first team football.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
He didn't play regular first team football at Newcastle last year.
So it's one of those things, isn't it? I think that if I could see through the clouds and go, well, actually, by halving my wages, I'm going to prolong my time playing first team football, and therefore the amount of time I'm in the shop window for bigger clubs, and therefore the amount of time I'm in the shop window to go to perhaps a bigger Premier League team that might then give me more opportunity for England football, etc., etc., etc. That's the thing, isn't it? So short-term greed doesn't necessarily breed long-term success, right? So that's why I personally would look at it. But I also am aware that I'm not earning that kind of money. So, if we can all start gifting memberships, maybe I can take 100 grand at home a week. It's not going to happen.
No, they haven't even hit the fucking like button. They 33 likes, they think we're shit.
33 likes is a third of the people.
Press the like button, people.
A third of the people think we're shit.
Please,
a third of the people think we're good, which is better than most people in my life. In other Saints news, then that's the transfer window. In other Saints news, there was a fans forum on Thursday. I was working. You watched it.
I did watch it, yes. There wasn't. Firstly, shout out to Matt, who's actually just sent a super chat through. We'll talk about that. But he was sat in the front row with his little cap on. I think it was quite sort of similar as expected. So Adam Blackmore said this year he wasn't going to take over and sort of take charge of a lot of the questions. He did. He kept on asking follow-up questions, which kind of got a bit annoying, but I kind of understand why he did it. Look, a lot of it was quite samey. There were some decent questions, obviously, about the impact of SpyGates. Someone said about the players trying to win back our trust. I was like, the players aren't the one that lost our trust. some fucking idiot people need to learn the rules. We'll make this very, very clear, guys, because people should know this. The reason we have the plane back and not the strike back is because of league rules. We don't choose to do it. It's league rules. Someone asked that question. They spoke about Ross Stewart. They said about, obviously, the people who are here now are the people that said they wanted to stay. Ross Stewart didn't want to stay, so that's why he's gone. Johannes Spors said, we're going to move in on the striker front, and we should have an announcement soon. Within 72 hours, we've got an announcement on a striker. Well, we should have that announcement tomorrow. He's due for his medical tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes.
Is that
that's Typhon Mibama, yeah. So, there's that going on. Look, there's a lot of movement. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about the transfer window. Phil Parsons, I think, to be fair, all three of them spoke very, very well. Phil Parsons said about how in the next sort of 5 to 10 years, there's going to be massive, massive work around the outside of the ground. One of the biggest projects in the football in the country and in sort of football stadium areas.
I mean, that area does need some money going into for local development.
Thankfully, no twat asked about fucking pin badges.
But that area does need development. So that's good news.
It needs massive development.
I do find that it is. I don't want to pick on the person because it might be completely innocent. But I think for a person to ask a question like that about the stripes is embarrassing when you have an opportunity to ask a question. Anyway, fans forum happened. The thing is, fans forums are. They're a marketing tool. They're never going to give you the inside detail.
It's politicians' answers, isn't it?
Politicians' answers. They're never going to give you the inside detail. So I'm all for doing them, but let's be real. We're never going to get a hot scoop out of a fans forum. We're just not, because they're not going to give that away. Because football's politics, essentially.
It was the first chance that a lot of fans had to face up with the idea of having all three of them. There's a few questions around SpyGate and sort of obviously the implications of that. I think all three of them, including Tonda, came across. Mark just said it there. I think it was a bit meh. It was kind of just like it's like a PR exercise. There was a few questions that you kind of went, "Oh, that was." And then there's a few questions you went, "How the fuck did you even do that?" Simon, to answer your question, you have to just apply for tickets. I couldn't make it. I had my daughter because my wife was at work. You were working.
Well, I also don't think they're worth the time.
It's kind of you can listen to it. You can listen to it. It's kind of like
They did ask one question though, chat, on the fans forum, which was when's the away kit coming out? When's that getting announced? And they said tomorrow on Thursday. They said tomorrow, Friday. New away shirt. What do we think?
I
don't say it because you're going to lose a lot of respect.
I quite like it.
It is a fucking abomination.
I don't think it's as good as the third shirt. The reason I'm not wearing the third shirt is because it's in my suitcase. If I haven't mentioned I'm going on holiday tomorrow.
It is a fucking abomination.
I don't think it's. I prefer yellow and blue.
It looks like a bus seat.
I prefer yellow and blue.
So I categorically believe our home shirt should be red and white, our away shirt should be yellow with a bit of blue, and our third shirt can be a different colour, right? The fucking black, I love the black shirts. The new third strip for the season, I absolutely fucking adore it. I was like, it looks okay. Then our old man wore it to my house. I was like, it's fucking gorgeous. I love that shirt. I actually quite like the pink one. I didn't own one because I'm not that way inclined, but I quite liked it, right? So an away shirt being blue it's fucking awful. And if you like a blue shirt, you're a fucking skate. Done.
It's not completely blue.
It's blue. It looks like a fucking bus seat.
No, it's supposed to relate to the Solent.
I have the first strip. I have the third strip. I will not be spending a fucking penny on that second strip.
I will. Yes, Riley. Just like Pompey's away shirt is what we should have. They've nicked our idea. That's probably why we've not done it.
Honestly, it's fucking awful. It's honking, Ash. It's honking. It's disgusting.
I don't think it's that bad of a kit.
Right, chat. There's 110 people in chat right now, right? Let's do it. I do this thing on my other shows quite a lot, right? I'm going to get you to put a number in the chat, a 1 or a 2. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that blue shirt is a fucking abomination. Put a 2 in the chat if you like it.
Come on, the twos.
It's Eastleigh's third kit, the green one with the Spitfire stuff. I think that's beautiful.
That is a beautiful kit.
I think that's gorgeous, that kit. It's the first time I've thought about buying an Eastleigh shirt.
Matt's just made a point. The Solent is green and brown, not blue.
Facts.
Done. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Come on.
1s and 2s. 1. Good. Love the third kit. 1.
Yeston said it's not that bad. Thank you, Yeston.
He's Welsh. One. Look at the Saints fans, Ash. Look at the people that are actually Saints fans. You're in the fucking minority here, mate.
Thank you, Riley. Thank you, Henry.
You've not done well out of this, mate, have you?
I'm not necessarily. I would have preferred to have had a yellow and blue kit. I just don't think it's as bad as people are making out to it.
It's awful. It's awful. Right, that's that one done. Other football news. You've lost, by the way, categorically. Other football news then. Championship predictions. We'll revisit once transfer window is closed. Yeah, what was really... I'm not going to make a prediction this season. I'm not. Because the Championship this season, I think, is going to be fucking wild. And I'm here for it. I think it's going to be fucking all over the place, right? It's going to be all over the place. I think it's going to be absolutely fucking crazy. I don't think you can make predictions. What I will say is, it was really fucking nice to hear Flynn's interview when he sounds hungry. And he went, we're going to win the league this year. Nothing else matters, we're going to win the league.
I'm confident in making predictions. If I was going to sit here now, I would comfortably say that I think West Ham are going to win the league. I think they've got by far the strongest squad, and unless they have some sort of absolute massive fire sale in the next 3 weeks, I think they're going to win the league.
Okay.
I think that there's a lot of teams, including us at the moment. If we carry on with the same momentum for last year and keep the main core of Group 12, I think we'll be all right. But I think if you look at teams like, and I don't want to talk about, I'm going to use a team like Middlesbrough, right? Middlesbrough have invested quite a lot in their squad. They spent £20 million on Will Lancashire, and they brought in other players like Ashley Phillips and stuff. Bobby Conway's still injured, which isn't going to help them. But they're a team who can go either way. Sheffield United are a team who could potentially, with Chris Wilder, they could go either way. Burnley, Wolves, again, we signed Raul Jimenez. Yeah, it's fine, he's 35. Is he going to be able to play 3 games in a week? Probably not. Are they going to? They've got Mane in the team still. They've got other players that, potentially they could keep hold of Andre and stuff like that who could necessarily move on. So it's a big 3 weeks for them. I think that in 3 weeks' time, we could potentially look at a prediction thing. I think that there's a lot of teams out there. Lincoln and Cardiff, for example, are the 2 favourites for relegation at the moment, but you still need to look at Blackburn and other teams, because there's going to be 2 or 3 teams who think they're going to be up for promotion and necessarily going to be. I think Preston are going to be in trouble this year.
So I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes.
And I want to ask chat the same question. I don't care about fucking West Ham and Middlesbrough and fucking Pompey and Wolves. I don't care about any of these teams. Where's Saints finish?
Top 8.
Where in the top 8 do you think they finish? Because that's a get out of jail free answer, that one.
I'll say an answer now, and I'll give an answer in 3 weeks when it's
100%. 100%. You can change your mind in 3 weeks.
At the moment, I would say 7th.
So I wasn't going for a very specific number. I would say playoffs. I don't think
top 8 is playoffs.
No, it isn't. Is the first place playoffs? Is second place playoffs? Is first and second place playoffs?
No.
So top 8 isn't fucking playoffs, then is it? 3 through to fucking 6 is playoffs now.
3 to 8.
3 to 8, sorry, is playoffs now. Not the top 2.
All right, okay. Playoffs. There you go.
There we go.
Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ. Second, top 3, 6th or 7th. Third, 10th, I'm afraid.
He's a West Ham fan, ignore him.
4th, I believe. You'll finish 4th, 5th. Yeah, 4th or 5th is where I would probably think we're going to sit at the moment. I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd rather go through the playoffs and get to Wembley and win than finish second.
Southampton Middlesbrough playoff final. Mark my words.
But that's just me, right? I personally, would rather finish in the playoffs and go up via playoff win if we win than finish second.
No, I get that. I think we also have to. I think a lot of people forget, and it's not much on the face of it when you think about it, but we still have a 4-point deficit to make up.
We do have a 4-point deficit to make up, yeah.
I think it's there's a I think, like I said, unless West Ham have a major file sale now, a lot of people obviously don't see Riley in the chat. He's a West Ham fan. Yared Bowen is staying. Mavropanos looks like he's staying around. And there's a lot of other players that look around and stay in the club. So I think that's going to be big news for West Ham. The other teams that have come down, Wolves still look quite strong, but maybe Burnley look a bit sort of all over the place. But again, we've only had 1 round of League Cup fixtures. You can't really tell much about that, can you?
No, exactly.
You can tell some things from League Cup fixtures, though.
You can, like Skate Watch. Are we ready?
Yeah.
So Skates got fucking battered by West Ham 3-1.
They did go 1-0 up. And
Yeah.
I was messaging Riley in a rage because, like I said, he's a West Ham fan. And then obviously Yaredburn scored a beautiful goal, and they I can't remember the name who scored the other 2 goals from Tastela. I don't fucking know. He's a foreigner. But yeah, it was a good win for West Ham. To be fair, and I know we don't normally do this, hands up to the Pompey fans. They took 9,000 to the London Stadium yesterday.
Ian says, and this is interesting, I agree with this one, right? I'll be honest. West Ham will get a shock in the Championship.
No, I
think they will.
I agree with that to a point.
I think they're going to be around the top of the league. I do. Guaranteed first place, I'm not so sold on, because it depends. They might hit the Championship and go, we're in a stride, we're okay. But I think they're going to come into some games where they're going to expect to win. And I think they're going to.
Oh, they're not going to walk it.
No. I just think that there's a world where they could be a bit shell shocked by the Championship. I think a lot of clubs play Championship sides nowadays, Premier League clubs specifically, play Championship clubs nowadays and go, oh, fucking hell. We didn't expect that.
The thing is, we also have to remember that, and we didn't really do it. We did it a lot last year because obviously Will Steele was in charge, but we started off with a win last year, then got a couple of draws, then lost like 3 or 4 games, and then we beat Sheffield United and shot up like 10 places in the league. At the start of the league last year, Stoke were top of the league, Charlton were playoffs, and Charlton ended up avoiding relegation in the last 2 seasons. So it's not until, Dad always said it's not until sort of 10 games into the season that you can kind of start to judge where teams are going to be.
Yeah.
So
it's also the Championship.
Last year,
fucking wild.
Last year we had such a shit start. We had to wait until sort of October for Tonda to take over and win like 6 games out of 7, and then have a shit Christmas and have a really good end to the season to make it into the playoffs into where we were. And even then, we only secured our playoff position with like 2 weeks to go. So if we can have a better, even with -4, if we can have a better start and we're just a bit more consistent, that's what you need in the Championship. You just need consistency.
The thing as well is, pressure's a wonderful thing. West Ham are under pressure this season because West Ham are expected to win the league. So West Ham are under a lot of pressure. And pressure's beautiful because pressure can make people do funny things.
I also don't like Nuno as a manager, and Riley knows that, so no shock.
Yeah. Okay, so, but well done West Ham for beating the Skates, at least for this particular moment. I'm happy for it. So up next, Watford away on Sunday for the first league game. How do you feel about that for a fixture for the first one?
It's just one of those ones that doesn't really get anything going for you, doesn't it? It's just Watford. It's a game we should win. Funnily enough, this is going to shock you, but since we played Watford last, I have a new head coach.
No.
Yes.
I am shook.
I know. Alessio Dionisi.
Easy for you to say.
Is their new coach. Look, I think Watford are another one of those teams who have been sort of flirting around it. They are about to sell, or they have sold Irakunda, who was brilliant against us in a couple of games that we played against them last year. They've lost a fair core of their team as well. They could be a team that either finish a shock place for top 8, or they could be a team that's down the bottom and really struggling. We should go there and win, but we need to start off the season well. If we want to get rid of that fucking 10 point 4-point deduction, then we need to get out of it. So Watford have still got some decent players in their squad. Look, they didn't play a first team yesterday when they beat Crawley in the League Cup. Yes, Joshy was the one that scored the free kick against us, and we just need to go there. And I think we'll probably see a very similar lineup to what we saw yesterday. Apart from, I don't think we'll see Ben Barrett and Diaz start, and I don't think Madski will start in a defensive midfield position. I think Cameron Bragg will start, and I think potentially Laren will start. But Mbama's had more of a pre-season than Laren has, so that'll be an interesting one. We drew 2-2 at Watford last year at their place, and we beat them 1-0 at our place. It's just about trying to, as I said, consistency. Because then we play Stoke the week after for the first home game, which is the one game that I generally cannot wait for. What the fuck is that?
It told me I had jewels to redeem, so I redeemed my jewels.
I don't understand.
And I had 1,000 jewels, so I redeemed a corgi.
Okay. You already have a dog. It's not a corgi.
Significantly bigger than a corgi already.
Yes, I know.
New pup is a monster.
So look, Watford, right? They're hot and cold. We should give them a bloody good go. Let's do it.
How do you earn jewels then? Information.
Let's not do it on stream.
If you want to send a gift, you'll need to buy jewels first. Choose your gift. Pick how you want to express yourself. It's up to you. Send it. Okay.
Good content, this, isn't it?
There you go. Cool. Well, there you go. I'm learning something. All right. We're going to say thank you to the people that paid money to us today anyway. So thank you so much, Josh Blackmore, for gifting a membership at the start. You're amazing. Thank you, Prowsey19, for becoming a member of the Academy. Make sure you get yourself in Discord. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mossed, for the 1 gifted membership. Thank you, Ryan, for 5 gifted memberships.
Legend.
Mossed then comes in with $10, a yellow one, and says, Ash, grab yourself some new Speedos. Go and impress the ladies.
I have a new pair of swim shorts for holiday. I have a...
Swim shorts is important there, because if he wears Speedos, he looks like a fucking Ken doll.
Ken's quite buff.
Yeah, but smooth, mate. Isn't he? It's fucking smooth. There's nothing going on there.
I can assure you I'm not going to impress any ladies, not even my wife.
Right.
I think that's just the way life is going to go. I am actually I've got to get up in 3.5 hours to get ready to go to the airport.
His gut holds onto his Speedos, at least, so they don't come down.
I could just wear a mankini.
I would, yes, let's do that.
They haven't they haven't even liked it.
Give me your address that you're at in Fuerteventura, and I'll get one sent to you via Amazon.
I know it's Fuerteventura. I don't know where it is.
Okay. We're now gonna head over to the Have Your Say section. So if you're a member of the channel, you can go into the Have Your Say section and you can ask something for free. So rather than spending money on something like a super chat, because you're a member, you can do it anyway, right?
Don't highlight the missing banjo. Wrong channel.
So thank you, Josh. He says, not Saints related, but big question as an England fan. When Kane retires, who the fuck do we put up front to replace him? Because as far as strikers go, we don't actually have anyone below the age of 30 who is a reasonably good striker besides perhaps Liam Delap. He's not wrong though, is he? We're light.
So Ollie Watkins has obviously been a natural successor.
Strikers is a weird position though, isn't it? Because I remember growing up, we're talking years and years and years ago, obviously. I remember growing up, everyone wanted to play up front. Everyone wanted to be a striker. And now strikers feel like they're fucking few and far between, good ones.
Because we used to play with 2 strikers up front in every team, and now we play with 1, if we play with 1, because Pep, the odd is bloody false 9 bollocks. And it's starting to come back. In 5-6 years, there'll be loads of strikers because everyone's going to want to be imitating Haaland. Who do I think is... Look, he's mentioned Liam Delap. Which Josh is it?
Josh Saint Media 23.
So Josh would do that because he's a fucking idiot. Do I think that... I mean, Liam Delap's not the next one. There's a few, right?
Become a member, get abused.
There's become a member now. There's a few. So there's a young lad from Saints who went to Lyon called Angel Rodriguez, who looks really good at the level that he's at. There's a few... Look, the problem is Harry Kane's not going to retire for at least another couple of years. So there's that aspect to bring into it. I think there's potential people who could come in to do the job. I'm not going to mention Ivan Toney because he looked overweight actually at the World Cup, to be fair. This season will always bring out new gems. Harry Kane was unearthed out of nothing, really. And there will be people who are in the Championship, League One, etc. Remember, Jamie Vardy came out from nothing. So I think this season will be the one where, if they've got any heads on their shoulders, the FA will be looking at striking options for the squad quite sharpish, because there's not many people around the Premier League, and Josh is right, there's not many people around at the sort of young age at the moment. You think Liam Delap at the moment, I think Liam Delap is another one who's in a position where he needs to have a big season, but I think moving to Chelsea was just the wrong move for him. It was a stupid move. Never done it.
Cam Archer.
Maybe not.
So thank you, Josh, for that question. You're amazing. Thank you, Daniel, for asking, after the Cup game, does it ultimately make you more or less confident of this season going well? Also, thought on the 6 new rules. Sorry if either has been discussed. I'm a bit behind. So firstly, I flat fucking ignore Cup games when it comes to whether I am or I'm not confident about the season. They're a Cup game. Anything can happen. Ash is right with what he said earlier. In my opinion, it was treated a little bit like a pre-season friendly. That being said, he also correctly, in my opinion, used the word professional. They went there, they did a job, they got the job done, they scored 2 goals, they conceded 0. What more can you ask for? A more kind of punishing team than Colchester may have got a couple of goals against us with the way that we were playing early on in the first half. We gave a couple of weak balls away. We could have been punished if they were a bit more sort of lethal. We saw what happened against Man City at Wembley, right? You got a lethal team and you give the ball away, you get punished. I thought, at the end of last season and the way it ended, I thought our first team would be fucking decimated in the transfer window. There's still time, granted, but I thought it would be decimated. The fact that, realistically, the only big name we've lost is Shea Charles. You could argue Ross Stewart as well. The only big name we've lost is Shea Charles. I am now currently quietly confident because the core of players that I felt we needed to keep, for example, Yander, Taylor Howard-Bellis, Ryan Manning, James Bree, we've kept them whilst making permanent Daniel Peretz, Carl Larin. So far, we've still kept Leo Cienza. I don't know about you, Ash, but that makes me quietly confident. The cup game has no bearing on it for me.
I'm the same. I think that potentially there's never really something to take from a cup game. However, what I would have taken from yesterday is that, again, start of last season, especially when we were playing under Will Steele, we would have been playing 5 at the back, and we potentially would have crumbled. And the fact that we managed to pull a win out of a team that we just pulled a win out, and it was just one of those games that there was potential banana skin there. You get it over the line. Did it make me feel more confident? Yes and no. No again because it's a cup game, but yes, purely and simply because Carl Laren's come back in, he's got on the score sheet, and we've got other players that have looked good and hungry. And I think we looked quite fit yesterday in terms of fitness, not me fancying any players.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the 6 new rules?
I can't remember all of them off the top of my head.
I know some of them.
So we have a fair few new rules that are coming in, and so for example, one of them people would have seen on Friday night in the Championship. So Middlesbrough making a substitution. Will Lancashire was substituted off, and he took longer than 10 seconds to get off the pitch. If you do that as a player now, then the next substitute to come on has to wait a minute.
So he's got to get off the pitch. The next substitute can't come straight on.
I believe, guys, you'll have to remind me for him. I've just tried to look for him, but I'm not like him. I'm not going to spend all the time looking at the tablet. I know that there's another one. I'm pretty sure that if the goalkeeper goes down injured and needs to train on, then the player needs to leave the pitch for a minute and stuff like that. They're looking at a certain way to try and improve. Obviously, we know that the Champions playoffs have been extended to 8 teams or 6 teams. It's
some of what I've heard is about tackling this dark arts type stuff, right? And I think that's good. I think tackling those things are good. We as a club never really did it enough. To be fair, we never really did dark arts.
No.
So the fact, and we've never really been good at it. The fact that they're going to nip it in the bud, substitutes taking fucking ages to walk off, keepers going down because they can buy time and break up the play. We saw it in the World Cup, right? The fucking hydration breaks and how much of a change that can have in a match is massive. A keeper going down for 5 minutes because I'm the goalkeeper, I don't have to go off the pitch. Keeper going down for 5 minutes can really fucking break the game up and really kill a team's momentum.
But there's more to it. So I was at Sholing the other night, and Dotsy just put it up there. I forgot about that one. They're counting down, so now you get a 5-second countdown to take a throw in.
Good.
A player must leave the pitch for a minimum of...
that throw-in, though, is from the point which they pick the ball up, right?
So they pick the ball up, and then the referee will start counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2... Well, I said they did it at Sholing the other week, and obviously non-league is different, but there's obviously a lot of people who, a lot less people, so they can hear it easier. But there was once in the incident, I was watching a friendly at Sholing versus Colchester, and the player forgot to throw the ball in time, so obviously the throw then gets turned down to the ground. But we'll see. There'll be a lot more. There'll be other bits. Obviously, it's all about, like you said, it's all about to try and contain the dark arts. But we know what will happen. They'll just find other ways around it. Of course they will.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, we saw it in the World Cup, and we saw how sort of like the impact. And we didn't have it yesterday, but some of the League Cup games yesterday were having their own hydration breaks and all that sort of stuff.
I hate that. And then finally, Wadhams says, "Did you guys hear the chants about the scoreboard after our second goal on the TV?"
No,
I was too busy with his fucking kids making noise.
Well, hang on a minute. Your son was the noisiest.
No, he wasn't.
Your youngest was the noisiest.
Prove it.
Can someone tell us what happened with the
chant?
This chant after the scoreboard, please? Because we didn't know that.
I didn't hear it.
Because we also suddenly didn't realise that the football programme was finished and ended up sitting watching boxing for about half an hour.
Well, we were chatting, weren't we?
We were chatting shit.
Good old chat.
Chatting shit.
I did a little chit chat.
Yeah.
We then have some people that have done some more things. So thank you, Matt Head, for $5. He says, "Liam, if you need a fat boy from Hive to fill in next week, let me know."
I'm not here. I'm away.
He was also a fat boy from Hive. I'll let you know. To be honest with you, there's a possibility that I'll just take the opportunity to have the night off anyway, because of life's been crazy for me lately. So I might take that opportunity.
Or you wait until Jimmy watches this back, and then he's going to message you like crazy and be like, Liam!
Him messaging me about being on the show doesn't mean it's going to happen.
It's not very nice, is it?
And then we'll go live the week after, right? Jimmy never got in touch, whether he did or not.
Everyone blame Jimmy.
Mark, thank you for the $5. Danny Welbeck will play till he's 50, probably.
Oh, God, Christ, yeah. That's a really... Actually, I don't think... No, it is a weird move, because obviously Chelsea signed him and Jordan Henderson, but they've done it because they need more English players in their squad. Oh, okay. It's just to fill a quota.
Yeah, it's
Welbeck's not going to play as much as they think it is. It's just to fill a quota.
No. And then thank you, Joshy Boy, for $2. Follow up, just get Jamie Tart and Ted Lasso. I mean, Ted's busy now, isn't he, with monkey tennis? So
I mean, I saw him at the World Cup halftime show, didn't I?
Yeah. So, I was well happy when that happened.
It's the only bit that I was excited for.
Yeah, it was the best part of the halftime show.
Yeah, it was the only bit. And then obviously he brought Justin Bieber, and I was like, he's just lost my respect, isn't he?
It's a worse substitution you've made so far.
What's he done, mate?
Yeah.
Like, bring on, what's the Mexican guy? Football is life. Danny Rojas.
Danny Rojas.
He actually plays football now for a living.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's mad, isn't it?
Thank you, Moss, for $5. Didn't put the second goal up. We chanted, we want our goal back.
That's hilarious. And to be fair, I don't think it went down too well, because obviously Akachukwu was on loan there last year, and the fans gave him a load of shit. So he gave it a bit of it back. I don't think it went down too well.
He's had a solid pre-season as well.
Well, Akachukwu?
Yeah.
He's looked good. Oyakunle's looked good. Obviously, Damien Downs has looked good in the games that he's played.
Oyakunle's a striker, right?
Yep. The only problem is with Oyakunle is he just doesn't have the same, like I said, it's the same dimensions and same build as Larin and what Mubama will have.
Physical presence.
But I think the next week things are going to start hotting up, because the seasons are starting. If we don't win on Saturday, it's not the end of the world. It's nothing to panic for. But it was just good to get a win over the line yesterday and just get that tick over. Yeah, it's good to be back as well, despite the fact we'll probably have to put it on pause for another week because of his constant holidays. After that, after next week, after Watford away, I am jealous. I wish I could just keep going on holiday. Keep going. It's only the after Watford away next week. We will then be back every single week with the Saints Network podcast. So look out for it. Well, what's happening in April? I'm on a cruise. So there you go. So we will be back the week after next at the very latest with another episode of the Saints Network podcast. We are also potentially making moves to allow us to do pre-recorded shows post-Tuesday games. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but we're making moves to see if we can make that happen so that we can give you a midweek report so we don't have to cover 2 games in a single show. Keep an eye out. That might happen. I'm excited for the season. Hopefully the podcast can grow. Thank you for all your support for last season. You guys were amazing. Thank you for already joining us. We've got over 110 people that have sat and joined us tonight for this particular show. You're all amazing human beings. Thank you. We love you. Thank you to everybody who's gifted and donated. Thank you, Josh, for coming at the end. Get me on next week. Ash knows I can chat for ages. He's also got a history around Empress Road as well, so Josh should love it. Is he? He's going to hate me for saying that. Yeah. So thank you so much for your support. Let's smash this season. We'll all have to hold hands in our weekly therapy group as Saints fans. I have no doubt, because it isn't our club unless there's ups and downs throughout this year. But I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to the football season. I have had a torrid start to 2026. I cannot fucking wait to be in the Northern Stand with a fucking pint in hand and get ready for a football match. I'm not going to be in the stand with a pint in hand, are you? Yeah. Yeah, I can be in the Northern Stand with a pint in hand. Right. Yeah, underneath. Yeah, the concourse, yeah. Shake your fucking cake hole. Jesus Christ. He's made himself look a right knob tonight, hasn't he? You can tell he's in holiday mode. Oh, yeah, literally. I've got a plane to catch in 7.5, 10 hours. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Before we go, Ash, is there anything you would like to say, bearing in mind the start of the championship is next Sunday? Yeah, sorry, I'm blank completely. You built me up for it. I've gone so fucking blank. Yeah. Come on, now I'm the same. Holiday mode. Complete holiday mode. Doesn't give a shit. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.